I'm on. Am I on? I'm on. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. We're here to get your blood flowing. You want to clap along with us? Yeah, oh, that sounds so great. Keep that going. Whenever we get to the chorus, you guys are just going to get to say, thank you, thank you. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and... I wake up and say, hallelujah for this day. Oh, how it blesses me. I wake up and see Spirit in me. Oh, how it blesses me. I'm gonna say every morning, thank you, say in the noontime, thank you, say every evening, thank you, oh, how it blesses me, yeah. I wake up and feel more of love in me revealed, oh, how it blesses me. I wake up and know Spirit in me grows, oh, how it blesses me. I'm gonna say every morning, thank you, say in the noontime, thank you, say every evening, thank you, oh, how it blesses me. I'm gonna say every morning, thank you, say in the noontime, thank you, say every evening, thank you, oh, how it blesses me, oh, how it blesses, oh, how it blesses me, oh, how it blesses, oh, how it blesses me last time, oh, how it blesses me. Yeah.
All right. Oh, I love it. Thank you. Welcome this morning as we gather at Unity Spiritual Center of Portland, and we remember that we are, both whether you're at home, you're watching this 3 days from now or a year from now, or you are here today, we are creating the consciousness. We are here gathering, remembering not just the truth of who we are, and yes, we're dressed in all kinds of interesting ways, and yet the truth of who we are is still the same. Every one of us, a divine creation of the infinite, the quantum field that we live and move and have our being in. And our journey is a sacred remembering. So as we gather this morning, I just want to welcome you wherever you are in your journey. A few of us may have had interesting times, interesting weeks, maybe the last year and a half or the last 5 years have been really interesting ones as we've journeyed and worked to pull out the truth of who we are. In just a moment, we're going to start our service, and we're going to focus on that. But first, I want to read to you something from, and I've been working this whole series that we've been doing with some of the work of Ilia Delio. She's a scientist who works with Pierre Teilhard de Chardin's work, who is also a scientist. And this paragraph, it just keeps calling me forward. She said, we all have a part to play in this unfolding. And she's talking about the evolutionary unfolding. Love, we are wholes within wholes. And those are W-H-O-L-E. There are no H-O-L-E-S here. They are W-H-O-L-E-S. We are wholes within wholes, persons within persons, religions within religions. We are our body, and we seek one mind and heart so that the whole may become more whole, more personal, and unified in love. That's the journey we're on. So as we begin this service, I just invite you, if by any chance you felt alone, you felt you weren't enough, you felt something was missing, I just invite you to move into your heart space, into a sacred remembering. The very DNA that you carry within you is the energy of love. It's the universal energy. Let's begin this service in prayer. Mother, Father God, infinite Spirit, we open. We say yes, absolutely yes, to awakening, to a cellular remembering of the truth that we are wholes within wholes. And we recognize we're sitting in this presence. We're living and moving and have our being within this presence. And regardless of appearances out there, we stand in that knowing. And we say yes to the sacred journey we have chosen. We are not here by chance, and we are here to know that truth and to allow it to set us free. As we gather in this awakening and in this willingness to experience love as ourselves, we encircle this whole globe, every being everywhere, who may not yet have that understanding of wholeness or have what they need to survive. We hold that space of enough food, enough shelter, enough respect, enough honor, enough love that we remember connected. One planet, one heart, one love. And we say yes to this movement of spirit in and through and as us now. And so it is. Amen. And so we gather, I believe, on sacred ground, yes, on Halloween, and happy Halloween, but we gather in a willingness to not just remember in the easy places. I know all of us have easy places, but to remember as a community, as a world. That's what we're doing right now. Our mission here, we've had two different ones we've been working with: creating community, living love, teaching truth, serving spirit, and practicing peace. And we also had added in that we are here for the transformation of lives and to support and empower every being to go out and be that transformation in their life. And so we just welcome you here into this. And Beth, our administrator, is going to share some of what's happening.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I've been exploring ways to inspire and encourage you to be a part of things, and I have found them. And I'm going to share them with you now. First, I want to just acknowledge how great it is to see all of the activity outside in the garden with our young people. It's so exciting to have them here and playing out there. I do want to mention that Youth and Family Ministry is open. Our YOUers and our unit teams have been meeting regularly. They're the ones who helped put everything together out there today. So that's been a really cool thing for them. And, you know, it wouldn't be Halloween if I didn't hawk some Christmas stuff. So we'll just get right into that. The annual teen fundraiser wreath sale is happening. So get those wreaths ordered. There will be teens out at the table today to take your information. You can also go on the website and on the donate button, I think there's a pull-down menu. You can get to the wreath sale that way also. So 2 different ways to order your wreaths. That's going on for the next couple weeks. Next Sunday, November the 7th, we fall back 1 hour. We also begin our 40 days of gratitude. So I know you're grateful for the extra hour you're gonna get, and we're grateful that you might share it with us. We got a couple things happening. One is the big leaf rake, and that's happening next Sunday after the service over in the East parking lot. You can bring a rake, or we have a rake for you. We would love for you to come and join us. We're going to take advantage of the public pickup that they're having the following week. It's a wonderful way for us to get rid of all that for free. Many hands make light work, so bring your work clothes. Plan to join us. The one excuse you might have to not do that would be if you're attending the Introduction to Unity class, which Reverend Lisa's going to be holding following the service next week. If you're interested in membership, there's a sign-up sheet and some membership applications out on the table. You can also do this through our website. Maybe you're trying to meet a membership requirement and needing to come to this class, or maybe you're just interested in the movement. Maybe you're new to Unity and you want some more information. You can get that next Sunday following the service. And then we'll follow up with new member orientation on November the 21st, and then new member Sunday on November the 28th. With everything that's happening next week, we're going to be doing our monthly in-person coffee and connection following the service. I'm going to need 3 volunteers who might be willing to come a little early, stay a little later, help us pull all that together for everybody who's staying for everything next week. So you can see me following the service. I want to mention 2 things coming up. Friday, November 12th, the Ongoers Luncheon is happening. They are meeting at the Spaghetti Factory this month, which I heard there were shouts of joy when the group found out they were actually going to a restaurant this month. So if you're 50 and older or you're retired, you can come and join them on that Friday for lunch. It's a great time, lively bunch of folks, so come and join them. Also want to mention, we are collecting candles for our gratitude services. If you have used candles, any size, votive, pillar, tapers, whatever you have, we'll take them. There's a basket out on the table. You can drop them in. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lisa to welcome our new people.
All right, and yes, those candles will be used for a sacred ceremony on Thanksgiving Eve. So we invite you to our Thanksgiving Eve service, which will be 7 o'clock on Wednesday. I can't even tell you the date, but it's Thanksgiving Eve, so we can all look that one up. I also wanted to let you know that on Sunday, November 14th at 2 p.m., we'll be having Billy Mixer's Celebration of Life, for those of you who would like to be a part of that. He was one of our wonderful musicians and singers, and we are just blessed to be celebrating his journey. So that'll be Sunday, November 14th at 2. If you're willing to help with the setup or the cleanup or any of the pieces like that, please see myself after the service. Linda Fettig will be coordinating the food afterwards, so we are blessed with that. I also wanted to just take a moment. Many of you have gotten to know Beth. We're so grateful that she came to us with over a decade of experience in Unity Church admin as people move from different places into Portland. What a blessing that is. And I also wanted to introduce to you to Susie Ellen today. She is heading up, will you just stand up for a moment so that people can see you and say hello to you? Susie, the lay ministry coordinator. She comes with 14 years of experience as a Science of Mind practitioner. She was very skilled and spent many years in both Unity and New Thought. And she also was a minister at the Spiritual Living Center. I keep getting the different words in different orders in Flagstaff, Arizona for 4 years. So we're so grateful. She'll be working with our chaplains. You'll be hearing more about a chaplain program that will be taking in chaplains this spring and other things. And we are blessed. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this sacred journey as we restart all of the pieces. It's fascinating to say, oh yeah, we used to do that. It's been 2 years. What did we do for Halloween? Oh, you mean we normally have 3 months preparation? Oh, well, let's see. Let's do it in 2 weeks. This is good. So we're all learning new ways of doing things. And I wanted to welcome any of you who are here for the first time, whether you're new to Unity completely or just Unity of Portland. We want you to know that wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you're welcome here. We honor you. We honor this path. Every one of us is on this sacred awakening. Sometimes for me, it's face down, being drug along, saying, are you going to listen or not? Sometimes I actually say, I'm open and receptive. But both ways we're learning, and we're learning together, and we're letting all these old ways fall apart. So if you're new here, I hope you were able to get a welcome packet and put one of the roses on your lapel. We'd love to meet you and greet you after the service. There's a green card that you were given in that packet. If not, they're in the front of the seats in front of you. If you fill that out and drop it off, there's white baskets as you leave each of these doors for either offerings or for these cards, just so we can put you in our system and start this process of gathering together and taking the journey. So I'm going to do something. I'm just going to invite you to raise your hand if you're new here today or you haven't been in a long time. So that means, yes, Dewey, you have to, Drew, you have to raise your hand. Does anybody, I just want you to see there are a lot of people taking this journey, and we honor all of you as I want you to know that wherever you are, this infinite presence is, and we're so grateful to have you here. If this community works for you, I would encourage you to become a part. We went from 23 teams of people that put all these pieces together down to 0 and just simply staff for quite a while. And now we're moving back up. And I'm so grateful for the people who have stepped in and said, oh, you need air filters. Oh, you need this. Oh, can I help? We have people out in the garden, many people helping with our youth and family ministry. So if you're one of the youth that are in here today and decide I'm too boring like my daughters did, go out in the garden. It's much more interesting. But we want you to know you're welcome here, and we'd love you to be a part. If it doesn't work for you, we urge you to continue seeking. Find a place that will. One of the things I found was that we can hop from place to place to place, and it was easier for me to do that than it was to say, okay, young lady, you got to live this journey, wherever it was. Now, this is during my years of not being a minister, never being a minister, not wanting to even hear anything about it because that's what my mother did. But let me tell you, we're all on a journey, and we are going to evolve. I just welcome you and say, if it works here, great. If it doesn't, find a place that does and commit yourself to that awakening that we're being invited into. I'll stop talking now. So we're going to sing, aren't we? We are going to stand and sing. This is a congregational song, and we are doing We Let It Be.
So we're going to sing just one of the verses. We let the love nice and slow so we can let our souls really seep in it, steep in it. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Let the love, we let the love wash over us. We let it be. Now the peace, we let the peace wash over us. We let it be. Let's bring it up with joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. Back to the love. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Love one more time. We let the love wash over us. We let it be.
Oh, yes. And thank you. We let that love wash over us. And I just invite you, whether you're in your homes or you're here, to look around you and recognize you are in a sacred space, traveling with sacred beings. And what a blessing that is. all of these beautiful eyes that are around us. And sometimes that's all we can see. We recognize we're all travelers on this journey, this absolutely sacred journey. All right, and as that, or as we take our seats, one of the pieces we do now is we just spend some time in, I don't know if you can call it meditation because of the length of it, but it's a remembering for ourselves that the answers we seek are always within. Unity doesn't have dogma that we say you have to believe these things, because we believe there's universal intelligence, there's a wisdom, and there's a deeper understanding that we can all learn as we open to these ideas. And so as you hear this music, I just invite you to quiet your body and your mind and allow yourself to turn within. I surrender. As we continue to relax our bodies, to quiet our minds, we let go of cares and concerns and focus. I love. I am love. I surrender. I let go. I let the infinite intelligence of the universe breathe through me, as me. One presence, one power. I am that I am. The eternal remembering with every breath. I know I am enough. I am enough in the silence, in the silence. Again and again, life invites me into a sacred remembering that I am enough for all that is present in my life today, for all that has been, for all that is to be. I am. The God in me is enough love, enough wisdom, simply enough. And so it is. Amen.
I live and move and have my being in the life of the divine. I live and move and have my being in the life of the divine. Spirit never doubts me, is never troubled or afraid. If I stop and listen, I will hear it gently say, oh my child, you live and move and have all being in the life of the divine. You live and move and have all being in the life of the divine. If I'm feeling distant, if I feel I've lost my way, well, that's the time to reach out, time to open up and say, oh my child, I live and move and have my being in the life of the divine. I live and move and have my being in the life of the divine. And it's the oneness that I see. It's the oneness that I see, embracing unity. Let the mystery unfold. Let the mystery unfold, inspiring me to know. I live and move and have my being in the life of the divine. I live and move and have my being in the life of the divine. I live and move and have my being in the life of the divine. I live and move and have my being in the life of the divine. A life of the divine. Life of the divine. Life of the divine.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Thanks.
Michael and Gina and Susan and Mark, we're so grateful for all of your gifts and our music team with their wonderful, wonderful costumes on today. I don't know if you noticed that we had both a witch and the Pope standing next to each other. You know, it's kind of like life right now. Anybody feel that that's how life is right now? We know, I have a feeling that we have enough books, just if collectively we put all of our books together, our self-help books, we probably have enough books to know that we live and we move and we have our being within the presence of the divine. That's there, and it's an awakening understanding that we're being called to know, and life happens. Anybody had life happen this week? Just, oh, okay, I'm not the only one. I am so grateful for that. It is a journey. And life is this movement between these as we begin to open to say, who are we and where are we going? Unity doesn't have dogma, but we have some beliefs. And one of those basic beliefs is that there's one presence and one power. Many of us grew up hearing about a God that was up in the sky that might, if we could just be good enough. Anybody try to be good enough for that God? I have to say, I am eternally grateful that I grew up in Unity. Now, that had its own pieces because you did not, if you knew your name, you knew an affirmation that went with that name. And let me tell you, having your mother tell you, you are strong, I want to hear it. That was the general piece of what it was. But I am grateful that I wasn't told you have to go up there or you have to be good enough to get somewhere. What we're undoing are some of these old ways of thinking and being, and how do we allow something larger to happen? And the things that happen in our daily life, and of course we also believe that the divine is within us. You can call it the universal Christ, you can call it the essence of the quantum. I heard divine mind and infinite intelligence were the words that I heard for this presence and power that was both in the universe and within every being, which of course means every one of our systems in life has to fall away. And this is what's happening right now. We can't go any further with a belief that the person over here, or the person over here, or the person over here isn't whole and infinite and complete. And the fascinating part is, I don't know about you, but life is saying, oh yeah, well, show me what you believe first. Show me what you believe. And so we're in these places where they can squeeze us, and we wonder what we do with it. We're in the 6th week of an 8-week program called You Are Enough, and we've been using the book of that name, which again, my yellow cover has too many dog teeth marks in it to bring it in, so you get the book, but hey, the book is not chewed up. This is very good right now. But with that, with the ideas we've been working with, we get to realize, okay, so we're enough for whatever's in front of us. Now, in the Oregonian this week, to Dear Lizzie, which I have to say I haven't read Dear Lizzie, but it said, how do you know if you're depressed or if COVID life is just getting to you? Is everyone feeling this way? And what do I, when do I know I need to go to a professional? What do I do? And the answer, and the person said normal or not. Anybody have that question? Am I normal? Is this normal or not? Well, first of all, none of it's normal. We're not going back to any old way because we're literally being pushed through an evolutionary journey that the very scales that put on the masks of who we were. I'm just fine. It used to be, I've got 2 kids, I've got a car, I've got this job, I do this. That's who we were supposed to be. And if you weren't, then you weren't enough. Those old ideas that we're separate, that we're not here, those are the things falling away. But the answer was, as far as I can tell, COVID life is getting to us all. I agree. It is pushing us forward. We are staring down the barrel of 2 years living under the chaotic rule of a pandemic, not to mention anything that might have happened politically for years before that, or the systems that have held us back for decades. This is not, it's been this building, but it feels like certain parts of my brain, the how to socialize part, for example, are atrophying. Anybody have their patience kind of like gone? Wait a minute, you didn't do this, uh-oh. So we get to realize that something's happening and we're being squeezed. And this Lizzie said, but I figured an actual mental health professional might be able to better answer this question. And the woman said, yes, everyone is feeling this way. The pandemic is a collective trauma we're experiencing in real time. Our lives changed overnight, and there's going to be an emotional impact to that abrupt change. For some, that looks like feeling hopeless, disengaged, disillusioned by our current state, while others might feel anxious, alone, and fearful. Whatever you're feeling is important, valid, and a symptom of and they're using the words collective trauma. I want you to remember that the things that we feel wound us. If you look at the hero's journey, which is what every one of us is on, it's the archetype. In Jungian philosophy, it's the archetype for the human experience. And there's a wounding, and then there is this journey out of that. Now, I believe and know that as long as I can know myself as enough, as a whole infinite creation of spirit, as a being that has what I need in this moment and continue to call that forth, I have an ability to walk through that. It doesn't mean that woundings don't happen, that things don't happen. But sometimes we hold on to the idea that right there, and it can be a trauma, it can be an ended relationship, it can be a life that left, it can be whatever happened. We hold that as the reason we are the way we are. What Panache Desai says, and what I believe with all my heart, is that is the universal invitation to evolve. That is the universe. And of course, Carolyn Mace says our soul even made sacred contracts for what it is before we embodied along this journey. But it's the invitation. It's where do we go? Now, when we're looking at just the pandemic, I believe every one of us is being pulled. It's like the things that we have around us are being pulled away because we need a larger story. We need something more. Edgar Mitchell, nearly 50 years ago, became the sixth person to walk on the moon. I know all of you have heard that. As a member of the Apollo 14 mission, his purpose was to conduct in-depth research on the lunar surface. That was all he was there to do, literally was to walk on the moon and to find out what the substance was and to come back and spend a lifetime doing that. On his way back, he found another purpose. He said that he turned and looked at the earth and he became fixed on this ball, this blue ball. And he said as he got closer and closer, and it said as his spaceship traveled back from the moon amidst the vast darkness of the cosmos, Dr. Mitchell's eyes became fixed on the blue sphere we call home. As he neared Earth, he was enveloped by a profound sense of universal connectedness. And he said, I realized that the story of ourselves as told by science and by the world around me, our cosmology, our religion, was incomplete and likely flawed. He said in an instant he had an awakening. I recognized that the Newtonian idea of separate, independent, discrete things in the universe wasn't a fully accurate description. And he said, what was needed was a new story, a larger story of who we are and what we are capable of becoming. And in 1973, he went on to establish the Institute of Noetic Sciences. I remember as a youth, and I think it was 1974, this is just guessing, my mother came home after hearing him at a Unity conference they had big ones in Palm Beach, Florida, we lived outside of there. And so she came home and she goes, I met Edgar Mitchell. And you won't believe what he saw. He said, every bit of it proves what we know, that there is one presence and one power. And he switched everything to this sacred journey. That all the small little categories, and which means our whole economy based on competition, and we have to do this and we have to do that, all of these different systems. And I'm talking about systemic racism here. You aren't enough, you aren't enough, you aren't, all of that has to go. And he continued to work with the science and the other pieces, but the idea of a larger story is where we're going. What's fascinating is evolution happens on this planet by each individual story getting larger. Don't you just wish we could say we are done with these systems here? We're done with all of those pieces? Anybody find that we're finding those pieces in our lives? Many have had to say, and I'm saying this many Sundays because it's a very real thing. We've had to say, whoa, wait a minute. I grew up with white privilege, or I grew up with this affecting my life, or this affecting my life, or I grew up in a world where others had that. And how did it touch my soul and my heart? You see, the scales have to come off our eyes. In Hinduism, they call it removing the veil. We have to find this larger story, but it's personalized in our life, which means we have to take the stuff that takes us to the ground, and we have to say, there's a bigger story in this. So if you've said that event changed my life forever, you're right. But it did not make you smaller or less than whole. The journey getting out of that can be a very interesting one. And we can have the diagnoses to prove it. We can have all of these ideas. But my invitation to every one of us this week, as we take off the Halloween costumes, as we take off the mask, as we look at that ritual of doing that we invite in a shift of our view in one area of our life. And if you want to tackle more, go ahead, but You might want to stick, or at least for me, sometimes it's one area. What can I do right here? If you were to view yourself from that spaceship out in the ethers, how would your journey over a lifetime look? I can tell you this, there's no mistakes in it. You're enough for every part of it. And your soul this time may have said, whoa, I incarnated as this. And so for me, as a white woman, it was as a woman. I was fortunate to grow up with a dad who had 3 girls and decided that he was going to tell every one of them as a U.S. Air Force officer and the commander of a base that he was going to tell every one of them they could do whatever they wanted. And nobody was ever going to tell them different. And he had a strong enough voice that we actually believed him. We actually believed him. So I was fortunate, but there came a point where I had to internalize it because I didn't believe I could get up on the stage and talk. That was not part of my anything. I did not do that. I did not do talent shows. I do not dress up in costumes. I almost set an intention to, but I decided I'm not sure I'm ready for that one yet. Because who I know I am looks like this, and it has to be this way. And then life comes in and it offers us, oh, you thought that was what you were. Well, what about over here? But what about if you drew a body or a lifestyle or the color of your skin? Not drew. I believe there are sacred soul choices. And we said, I'll be a part of this journey. I'll be right here. And then life happens, what we think, to us. I want to invite us to take out the word to us. I believe life happens for us. It is the universe saying, here, let me help you. Now, I have a lot of opinion about some of the ways that the universe has helped me. But what I know is that if I will allow a larger view of who I am, and that means I have to have enough space in my being to allow the squeezing to happen and something more to open, something more to be present. If I will allow that, then I will find a larger picture. Panache Desai said, this is because when you live in a creative self, you personalize everything. And he was talking about, the things that have taken place in our life, in the world, the times we are victimized, taken for granted, or unappreciated and abused. Much of our remaining energy, our energy in life, is taken up with your regrets and shame, worrying about the wrongs you committed, and how and when you maybe find it out, or the energy it takes to hold a story of how you have been made less than. I honor those sacred stories. I honor them with all of my heart. I know what it feels like for my life to say, wow, these were the choices of people in my world. Now, how do I support those around me in finding something different? But when it comes down to it, it's still the little piece right here that we get to include. And so he said, your life is lived through the lens of your ego. It's the falling away of the pictures we have of the life around us. Your reality is good or bad personally, right or wrong morally, left or right politically, true or false philosophically. It's a set of what he calls egoic stances. It doesn't mean we don't have to stand in the truth that we believe. It does not mean that, but we have to really look at it and say, what did I tell myself about, am I acceptable because of my weight? That's been a huge journey for me. In high school, when I dislocated my shoulder and lost my college scholarship, I gained 50 pounds overnight. It's interesting because I'm back at that same weight right now. I finally lost it, kept it off for 25 years, moved to Portland after my husband's journey and that he's no longer on this planet. And guess what came back? I'm like, seriously, again? And so whatever journey you're choosing, the question is, can we love ourselves within that journey? Because the evolution of the planet is love. What Ilia Delio talks about, what Pierre Teilhard de Chardin talks about, is that the very foundation of this universe is love. That is the energy that creates us. Now you may say, that's not love, they're not love, they're not love. We can do that. But the truth is, life is asking us to find a little bit larger space in our heart to love today. It's asking us to find both the quiet of prayer, of meditation, and Unity uses affirmative prayer. I am enough was my prayer for about a decade. It didn't stop. It still is the number one prayer I go to. Thank you, God, and I'm enough. Now, sometimes it's hard to say thank you, God. This morning, as I'm getting dressed, I have both of my daughters here. And working through the journey that they have lived, both coming from Russia and the starvation and some of the pieces that their journey took and what it took for us. The fascinating thing, it all comes down to this morning when I'm, instead of just getting myself ready, I'm getting both of them ready. And at one point, I go downstairs, I can hear them. They no longer are agreeing on what has to happen before we get out the door because it's getting really loud up there. The cat is meowing. All these things are going on. Somebody's yelling, Mom, get up here. And I just stop. And I thought, that's it. And then it's that choice point. And I have to say, this time my dog was sitting right there. Now, this is a 105-pound lab, for those who don't know, that I got last year during the pandemic that was really going to be just this awakening, and it has been. He has been. He is just a very big teenager who loves to run. And I was attempting to both feed him and then get him into his outside. Anyway, I looked at that dog, and I thought, wait a minute. Right here, my old behavior would be go upstairs and say, what are you guys doing? We have to get out this door. We have to do this. But if so, we go back into an old cycle. And it sets off other old cycles. It sets off other triggers. For one moment, all we have to do is I just stood there. I looked in the eyes of that dog, and hopefully I would have done it anyway. And I just said, I love you. Every step. The two kids upstairs, the dog, the cat, the things that weren't in place in my house, the things that are falling apart, all of the pieces, and the things that work. Somewhere in your life. And then we had enough time that I just took a breath, and I was like, hey guys, I got an idea. An idea comes in our mind when we move through the places that squeeze us. That's just a little one. But I want to tell you, you have them. You have many reasons, they're all good ones often, of why we got there. But I want to say this, your skin, your being, your body, your essence has everything in it needs to transform your journey as one of love. It's calling to you. It's already out there, available, present. And who you are has come to touch other lives. And I would just invite you to step into the mess. And if you fold down and you start just like last night, this house is a mess. Somebody has to pick up something. And my 19-year-old, 20-year-old said, good job, Mom. Sounds nice. And I just said, I can't function when it's like this. And then I realized those are ideas I had. And what would happen if I chose something different? Choose your journey. Choose your life. When it folds and you fail, hold yourself. Just hold yourself. Mentally, if you can't do it physically, and then walk through and say, I'm enough for this next step and the next one. As long as I'm down, holding myself. When I stand up, I know I'm enough all the way through. Thank you. As we take this time to receive our tithes and our love offerings, and we open to the larger story, and we're still opening to a larger story of an economy, of a world that works for all, of a way that we can all be a part of this sacred journey. I want to share with you that there are several different ways you can give to Unity of Portland. There's baskets by the back door. unityofportland.org is our website. You can go on at any time under ways to give. We also have that you can text, and many people are giving by text now. The number is 833-814-3477. It'll be up on the board in just a moment. And you text the word Unity of Portland, all lowercase, to that number. And many people do it, and we're inviting you to do it on a recurring basis. It makes such a difference. Or you can send in a check. But all of this is a part of continuing this community. If you don't know, we have been here 96 years. not in this building since 1955, but Unity of Portland has been sharing these same ideas for 96 years, and we didn't get run out of anything, you know? These are different ideas. 96 years ago, they were very different ideas, but all of them are ones of the inclusivity and the interconnected of every human being, and that's what we're working with today. So as we take a moment, and I'm going to say our blessing, or actually we can say it together, and I just invite you to recognize the ideas. We're going to do it. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Know this, recognize this, divine love. Let's do it together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you.
We're going to ask you to put your hands together one more time. If you'd help us out, or if you feel like snapping, or if you feel like chair dancing, or you can take a groove up the aisle. I know Pam was doing that earlier. It was very fun. Okay, this is a little chant, kind of trance kind of feel to it. We're going to have some moments if you guys want to sing along. One of the key phrases is going to be, I am a child of God. And we'll sing that a few times, okay? Every step I take is taken on sacred ground. Every breath I take is spirit flowing. Every song I sing, I'm singing with sacred sound. Every gain I make is spirit growing. Every step I take is taken on sacred ground. Every breath I take is spirit flowing. Every song I sing, I'm singing with sacred sound. Every gain I make is spirit growing. We are sacred children, we shine with Spirit's light. We are sacred children, we're filled with Spirit's love. We are sacred children, we live in holy lands. We are sacred children, we touch with holy hands. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. Sing it with us. I am a child of God. One more time. I am a child of God. Every step I take is taken on sacred ground. Every breath I take is spirit flowing. Every song I sing, I'm singing with sacred sound. Every gain I make is spirit growing. We are sacred children, we shine with Spirit's light. We are sacred children, we're filled with Spirit's love. We are sacred children, we live in holy lands. We are sacred children, we touch with holy hands. So we're gonna sing, I am a child of God again. I am a child of God every day, yeah. I am a child of God every way, yeah. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. Now look at your neighbor and say, you are a child of God, okay? You are a child of God. 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 Back to I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. Last time, I am a child of God. Now we're just gonna simply say, I am. I am. I am. I am. I am. Last time, I am. Thanks for supporting us with your claps.
Oh, yes, we are so blessed. And I know in just a couple minutes, our youth will be coming in. I wanted to introduce you to our chaplains. They are here to pray with you. They hold that sacred space. And if you would like one-on-one prayer, having someone hold this vision of the enoughness that you are, they are here to pray with you at the end of the service. They'll be up here and in the front. So we thank them for being here and for holding that space as all of us learn this sacred journey that we're on. I also wanted to, let's see, there were two other things I was supposed to do, and I am sure that, if you haven't filled out your green card, it'd be great to do it now and just put it by the baskets as you go out. I wanted to share, let's see, well, we will wait. Also, I wanted to let you know that as we look at our individual journey, remember that evolution happens by adding together, by coming together. Isn't it interesting that the pandemic took us apart to give us an opportunity to see how we come together again? And it may feel like it's a battle, and you may feel like, I don't want to do this, I don't know how, it's just easier to stay away. Just remember, all of that is the evolution. And when we allow our evolution to move forward, it touches everyone else. In just a minute, our youth are coming in, and this is the first time that they have been. First of all, more of them have been here. All they're gonna do is walk through. They used to come forward and stand here. We're not gonna do that right now. But I want you to remember that your journey is connected to every other journey. And so I believe that we create an energy field of love, and their hearts know it. And so I would invite you to just literally remember and to right now create an energy field of love into which they walk, that every time someone looks at them, they know, oh wait, I'm loved, I'm enough, I'm whole. Because that's our journey and our job here also. So we're going to sing them in. As I understand, they're going to come in the two outside doors, and they're going to come around and come through. Now, if that doesn't happen, then there's some other plan that I don't know about yet. But that's as far as I know. And that's what life is giving us right now. So let's just hold the wholeness. I don't know why they're not coming any further. And just the knowing of who they are. And then at some point, maybe they won't come in.
I'm gonna move to the light, I'm gonna speak of the light, I'm gonna sing with the light, I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light, yeah. I'm gonna move to the light, I'm gonna speak of the light, I'm gonna sing with the light, I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. Woo! I'm gonna move to the light, I'm gonna speak of the light, I'm gonna sing with the light, I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. I'm gonna move
we love
to
you.
the light.
We
I'm
hold the light
gonna
that you
speak
are.
of the light. I'm
We are
gonna sing
grateful.
with the light.
And the
I'm
adults.
gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise, and I shine in the light, shine in the light, yeah, shine in the light, oh, shine.
We are are so blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Beings of light, every one of them saying yes to this sacred journey. And you know, part of this sacred journey, as we sing the peace song, I believe, is an awakening, saying, oh, wait a minute, I'm part of it. It's me. I can choose peace instead of this, even when we're squeezed. So we are going to stand and just simply hold space. Maybe not hands, but space.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Oh, yes, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. And let's join together in our unity prayer. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, God. By the way, parents, the younger kids will be outside. The teens are downstairs. Have a love-filled week.
I'm gonna move to the light. I'm gonna speak of the light. I'm gonna sing with the light. I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. I'm gonna move to the light. I'm gonna speak of the light. I'm gonna sing with the light. I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. I'm gonna move to the light. I'm gonna speak of the light. I'm gonna sing with the light. I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all,